what's going on with my... Sorry, I'm trying to get it straight. See if we can get anybody to hop on tonight. Hello? If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Hello, hello. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Sorry, I had a hair on my screen. Got something else on there too. Hold on. There we go. Get that off. Oh, I don't know what that is. I don't be pushing buttons, Renee. And then I won't be able to get it off. Hey, Ann, how are you? If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Hey, Terry. Oh, good. I'm glad. Just gonna let a few more people hop on here. I'm a little early. Surprise, surprise. I didn't get on last night. I was so exhausted from work yesterday. What did I do with my... Hold on, I'll be right back. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Sorry, I need my lotion. My hands are so dry. I wash them all day long. If you're just hopping on, oh, there we are. Mamacita from North Carolina. Do you have a name besides Mamacita? If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Okay, I don't want to slaughter it. Is it Tana? Tani? I'm not sure. I hate it when I can't pronounce somebody's name. Carol from Southern California, welcome. Thank you for the badge. I appreciate that so much. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. Thank you for the likes. Oh, I can actually see them again. All last week they were so faint I could barely see them. Hold on, guys. Sorry, I gotta check this message. Sorry. Carrie from Texas, welcome. Thank you for the badges. I appreciate that. Carol, thank you for the follow. Okay, guys. Well, I'm just going to let a few more people hop on and then we'll get going here. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. I'm early. Renee is hardly ever early. I'm an early person. It's just the way my life works with TikTok. I never seem to be able to get on early. Thank you for all the likes. I appreciate that so much. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. I feel like I'm hazy. I wonder if my camera's dirty. Maybe it's just my lighting tonight. Michigan, Kathy from Michigan, welcome. Thank you for the hearts. Yeah, you guys, if you could just keep tapping that screen, that really does help me out a lot. I appreciate that. LJ from Salem, Oregon. Aw, I love Oregon. I miss Oregon terribly. Stephanie, thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. Hey, Will, how are you? Thank you for the badge. Appreciate that. Okay, guys, we'll just let a few more hop on, then we'll get going here. I think my camera's dirty. It seems like it's hazy. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. All right, well, it looks like we're just gonna plateau out. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I know I'm actually early tonight. I know that never happens, hardly ever. Stephanie from New York City, welcome. Oh, of course, then it goes flying. Hold on, guys, let me catch up. Dale from California, I just want you to know that you look absolutely fabulous. Thank you, I appreciate that. Nikki from Fort Worth, welcome, glad to have you. Hey, Julie, how are you? How'd your day go? Thank you for the badge, I appreciate that. Sorry, I just shook my whole tripod. Any chance you want to guess I love some company? Maybe another night. I'm not used to having a guest. But you're welcome to stay in the chat. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Gnome Blessings. Okay. Church of Gnome. That's kind of different. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. There's my cat right on schedule. Sorry. Thank you for all the likes. I appreciate that. Okay, hold on. I got a cat attacking another cat. Sorry. Oh, always a 10-ring circus around here. Okay, so like I said, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. If you're not familiar with my channel, I think I just glitched there. Hopefully not. I started my TikTok a year ago in March. The reason I started my TikTok is because on September 14th of 2023, for TikTok purposes, my husband unalived himself. Sorry, I have a male cat that keeps attacking my female cat, so I apologize. He's just going to be a shyster tonight. So that's why I started this journey. After my husband passed, I discovered that I had abilities to talk to my guides. And through all of that, they slowly breadcrumbed me to my purpose, which was to be here with all of you lovely people. And so to help others with loss and trauma and pain and, just to uplift others. So that's why I'm here. Raylyn, thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. So if you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Oh, thank you, Nikki. I appreciate that so much. And so when I go live, generally, for the most part, my guide gives me a topic. So tonight, our topic, we're going to talk about pain, actually. Couple different types of pain and maybe some way through that. Dave from Michigan, welcome. Glad to have you here. Okay, so I only have 2 rules if you're new here. The first one is I always just ask that you be kind to everyone. The second one is we talk absolutely no politics here. It's just not what my page is about. Has nothing to do with one side or the other. There's just a million other pages out there for that, and mine's just not the place. Julie, pain stinks, LOL. Yes, it does. And I always like to say I am on my journey where I am, and you are on your journey of life where you are, and none of us are going to agree on everything. So we agree to disagree here. And if you can't do that, then all I ask is that you hop off and keep scrolling. That's it. So that's what my page, like I said, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for all the likes, Julie. I appreciate that so much. So we're going to talk about 2 types of pain tonight. Pain from trauma and pain from loss, right? Called respect. Okay. Sorry, I had a headache all afternoon, so I'm just getting where I can think straight again. It's finally gone away, Julie. So bear with me tonight, guys. I'm a little slower than normal. Okay, so pain from trauma. What does that look like, right? So my guide says anger issues, depression or sadness, right? Addiction or anxiety. Okay? So if you're just hopping on, tell us who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee and I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. And so So how do we heal from these, right? So generally the first step in healing is you have to acknowledge it, right? If you don't acknowledge that you have something going on, it's really hard to fix it, right? So the first step is acknowledge the trauma. So figuring out, okay, what was the trauma? Whether, it was some kind of an abuse as a child, childhood trauma. We all went through that some way, shape, or form, I think, whether it be from childhood or teenage years or when you were in your 20s, some kind of trauma, right? I don't think there's anybody out there that hasn't suffered some kind of trauma of some sort. If you have, lucky you. That's all I can say. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. So the first step is acknowledging the trauma. Some more than most. Yes, unfortunately. And the second thing is you have to feel it to heal it, right? So what does that look like? Okay, so you have to feel it, right? So now you've discovered what is your trauma. And then now how are you going to heal it? You have to feel through that, right? I always say you have to walk through that storm, right? And then she gave me a list of ways that we can do that. So one of the ways is journaling, right? When I lost my husband, journaling was one of the most significant ways that I dealt with it, right? Just being able to write down my feelings, whether it was anger or sadness, any of that, right? Another way to feel it is to write a letter. Maybe somebody abused you when you were younger, whether it be physical, whatever, right? By the way, we do talk about sensitive topics here, so if that bothers you, please hop off and keep scrolling. Don't report me, please. So maybe writing a letter. And that doesn't mean that you have to give that letter to anybody, right? It just means that you're writing that letter, you're getting it out. I always recommend using the hand that is not your prominent hand, right? I learned years ago that if you write a letter with the hand that's the opposite, especially let me clarify this first. If it's a trauma from your childhood, right? So if you're trying to deal or heal a trauma from your childhood, if you use the non-prominent hand to write a letter to whoever it may be, then you're kind of writing that from the childhood perspective. Does that make sense? So your letter is going to look like it came from a child because you wrote it with your non-prominent hand. And so that's one of the ways, right? And like I said, maybe you want to send it, maybe you don't. Either way, it's going to help you get those emotions out. Maybe you just want to write it and then burn it, whatever it may be, right? Getting it out, that's important, right? Getting it out in a journal, getting it out in a letter. And then the third one was just getting it out, right? Maybe going out in the middle of nowhere and screaming, or, taking some old dishes that doesn't mean anything to you, or something that's breakable, that doesn't mean anything, and breaking it, and, whatever it may be to get that trauma out, right? When I first lost my husband, I think it had been a couple months. And my guide said, you know what you need to do, right? And I knew what they were talking about because we have like this unspoken communication, kind of. It's hard to explain if you've never experienced it. But so for me, it was like, they were like, you know what you need to do. And I was like, okay, yeah, I do. And my daughter was living with me. And so she was in the other room. And so I went out into the living room and I said, you're going to hear some stuff come from my bedroom. Don't be alarmed. It's just something that I have to do, right? I had a lot of anger and frustration with my husband. And so one of the ways to deal with that was, and so I told my daughter, I said, no matter what you hear come out of my bedroom, don't panic. I'm okay. I'm going to be okay. It's just something that I need to do. And so I came back in my room and I cried and I screamed at my husband and I yelled and I cried some more. And I got out that frustration and and tell that, and you don't even have to talk, like I said, just go out in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't have to be to somebody, right? And just get out that whatever it is that you need to get out. And it really did help me a lot. I'm still working through the anger. I've said that many times on here. If you're new here, if you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. Okay, so the third one, get it out just some way. Scream, break something. Don't break anything of importance, though. You'll regret it later. Meditation. Meditation was another one that was really beneficial for me. I started meditating. I sucked at meditation before my husband passed. And then afterwards, I just deep dived into meditation. And sometimes when I have a million thoughts going through my mind, right? It's if I just sit down and I go into meditation, that helps me to. And meditation isn't always about calming the mind. It's about observing it non-judgmentally, right? But for me, it was about calming my mind, that racing mind, those racing thoughts, and just being still, right? Just being present in the moment. Another great one is nature. Nature is very, very healing. If you can get outside and put your, hi Daniel, welcome. If you can get outside and put your feet in the grass, the dirt, sand, water, any of that. It is very healing. It's grounding. And that's great. I did a lot of journaling and meditation in nature. So I kind of combined several of them at the same time. Let's see. And another one for me is working out. There's a lot of times when I have my mind is racing also, and I don't want to do meditation. I go to the gym and I walk on the treadmill and I work out. And that's just something for me that helps clear my mind. And I don't know why. Probably something to do with endorphins or something. I don't know. But when I'm frustrated and I'm really just struggling with something in my mind, then I go to the gym. That's a great outlet. It's okay to deal with the pain slowly. Sometimes pain is more than you can bear. Exactly. I'm glad that you brought that up because that was something that I did not write down, but I'm glad that you brought that up. So yes, so pain, it doesn't have to be a sprint, right, to heal that pain. Sometimes it's, a relay race where, you can only do a little bit today and a little bit tomorrow and a little bit the next day, or a little bit this week and a little bit next week and a little bit, right? There is no time frame for healing pain. It's just working through what you have to work through, right? Okay. So now we're going to talk about pain from loss, right? And so some of the things, guilt, anger, sadness, right? On your own time. Exactly. And like I've said, if you're new here, I always say, have a moment. It's okay to have a moment. It's okay to not be okay all the time. But know yourself well enough to know that if you're slipping into something and when you're really not okay and you can't pull yourself out, then you know that you need to go talk to somebody or get some other kind of help. Soul Sensations, thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. If you hear that, that's my grandson out in the other room. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee and I'm from South Dakota. And tonight our topic is we're talking about pain. So first one was guilt, right? If you're new here, my husband, for TikTok purposes, unalived himself. And so in the beginning, I had a lot of guilt. And when my grandmother passed, we were in a quarrel. And, I was 12 years old and I didn't know any better. And so I lived with guilt for a long time that she didn't maybe love me, or she didn't know that I loved her because we were fighting. And so I lived with that guilt till I was in my 20s, y'all, because I didn't have the skills to know better, right? And so in my husband's case, I had guilt that, maybe I could have prevented it somehow. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. Thank you for the badge too. And so in his case, like I said, I thought, maybe I could have prevented that some way, shape, or form. And then, working through that, I realized that I am not responsible for somebody else's choice, right? He made that choice and I am not responsible for that. And then also one of the things too is that I've discovered is that, maybe I could have stopped him that day. Maybe if I had listened to my intuition sooner, I could have stopped him. But who's to say that he wouldn't have done it the next day or the next week or the next month, right? And so I had to work through that guilt. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. The next one is anger. And like I said, I've been very vocal about, I'm still dealing with the anger part of it. I think that I have it licked, and then something in life that comes up because of the situation that I was put in from him leaving frustrates me, and then I'm angry with him all over again, right? And so I'm still working through the anger, and it's okay. We talked about a few minutes ago, it's on everybody else. It's on your time frame, not anybody else's time frame. Right? Abed, welcome back, buddy. Hi, how are you? How have you been? Thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. And so, like I said, it's on your individual time frame and working through how you have to work through it. And I think I need another screaming session, right? I need to just go out into the hills somewhere and just scream and get it out. And I kind of got away from my journaling, and so I'm going to go back to doing some of that. But I just want you to know, if you're new here, I'm very open about, I'm still going through things with the loss of my husband. And, sorry, I had a headache earlier, so I'm just getting my concentration back here. So working through those things, right? Being on here with you guys is helping me work through things, right? I've said a million times, everything that I get here is a lesson for me as much as it is a lesson for you. So, and then sadness, right? Working through the sadness. And here's one thing that I now have a different perspective on the sadness part of it. If you're not familiar, I'm also a medium. And so I can hear and talk to those on the other side of the veil. And so for me, the sadness has changed because I now know, one, I can hear him. He talks to me, he tells, he tries to ease my mind. So that helps. And then I've also learned, since I've been able to talk to those on the other side, they don't want us to be sad, right? They don't want us to lay in a bed for a year and mourn them. They want us to move on with our lives and to heal and to be happy, because ultimately they're in a great place. Really, they are, and when I have people come through, and 99.9% of the messages that come through from the other side of the veil are, tell them that I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm in a good place, and I don't want you to be sad. And of course, anybody who's been through loss knows that sadness is one of those things that is for us, right? It's not for them, because they're gone. Technically, physically is what I meant. They're gone, but they're still with you. Right? You can talk to them. They can hear you. They send you signs all the time. It's just people don't see them. Thank you for the likes, by the way. I appreciate that. And so my take on sadness has changed just a little bit. So that's pretty much all I have tonight, guys. Does anybody have anything that they need to add or anything? Any questions? Anybody? Okay. All right, well, I'm going to do my little spiel here that I have to do or my guides get upset. So if you're not familiar, I do have a YouTube channel, and that is under Scorpio Medium. And if you're not a subscriber over there, I would love it if you go over there and subscribe. I feel like I'm glitching again tonight. I see little tiny glitches. So if you missed that, Scorpio Medium is my YouTube. And if you're not a subscriber, I would love it if you went over there. You'll find all the videos that I have here on TikTok over there. The only difference is if you miss a live and you'd like to catch that, I upload all my lives over there. If you check out my bio here and my bio over there, you'll find my email addresses. And if you are interested in setting up a channeling session with somebody on the other side of the veil, you can go to my email and email me, and that's how we set those up there. I go live Sunday through Wednesday normally, so this isn't my normal night, between 7 and 8 o'clock Mountain Time, generally about 7:15. Tonight I'm actually early, but I'm generally here Sunday through Wednesday. This week, I apologize, guys. I wasn't on Wednesday, and there was another night. Tuesday, I went to the movie. I told you I was going to come on tonight because of that, and I wasn't on last night. I worked all day yesterday. I was just completely exhausted. So it was a long day, and I just couldn't do it. So if I'm ever not here, I apologize. I might go on briefly tomorrow night to make up for last night. We'll see what my guide says. No, but I'm so glad you got on. I missed you. Oh, well, I missed you too, Julie. And you can always message me too if you need anything, but I apologize. I'm going to try to be more consistent next week. It was a rough week for me. My job's starting to get busier, so hopefully things will even out here soon, and then I'll be able to be on more consistent. But that's pretty much all I have tonight, guys. Does anybody else have anything going once? You totally understand? I'm glad. Going twice? Anybody? Okay, well, like I said, I might see you tomorrow night. Just briefly, I might hop on and chat unless my guide says I need to share something else. Otherwise, I will see you back here on Sunday night, a little after 7 o'clock Mountain Time, hopefully. I hope y'all have a great night. Remember to make, oh, thank you, Julie, appreciate that. Remember to make tomorrow great because it is a choice. And on that note, I'm going to say until we meet again.